Hi everyone, this is Dog Q&A 13. Welcome back. And literally before I pushed the start button, some construction started next door. So I hope you can still hear this. Today we're going to talk about okay, I might have a connection issue here. Let me see. This is okay. Yes. Okay. So should you leave your dog alone in a yard when you're either home or not home, actually? So I wanted to talk about this because it's something I see a lot. I saw a lot at our old house, and I see it a lot, not as much in our new house, but definitely still see it here. So I just wanted to talk about maybe the pros and cons of doing this and maybe some alternatives. So the first issue that you're going to face with leaving your dog alone in the yard is that they're going to get bored and possibly find a new thing to do that you might not like. So, and wonderfully, my neighbor's dog, who is outside, and I believe is outside a lot, is now barking his head off. And I think it's a shepherd. It sounds like a shepherd. And they're prone to having, they're protective type breed. They have territorial issues sometimes. So a dog like that in particular is going to engage in barking. And the more your dog learns to bark at things, and it could be things going past the yard, past the fence, outside the house, maybe people or dogs walking by, your dog's going to practice that reactivity, and then it's going to transfer to your car, inside your house, on the leash, things like that. So the more you leave your dog alone, the more likely he is to engage in a behavior you don't like. And barking is a big one that I saw. And in our old house, we had dogs on 3 sides that were outside all the time, and they barked at us nonstop. Fortunately, one of the owners would actually bring their dog inside when it started barking at us, but not everyone does that, or maybe you're not there to see it. Maybe you're at work. So that's something to consider. Your dog also, depending on the age and breed of your dog, may become destructive. So you might have a dog who's like a younger dog with a lot of energy, or maybe a dog like a border collie that has propensity to need a job to do all the time. So those kinds of dogs in particular will do things that can be destructive to the yard. So they might dig holes, they might chew up your plants, they might, a popular one is sprinklers. For some reason, these are extremely exciting to dogs, especially puppies. And they kind of hone in on those and will dig them up, chew them up, that kind of thing. So you want to think about, is your yard valuable to you? Do you have expensive things in your yard that you don't want your dog to destroy? Then you probably don't want to leave them out and give them an opportunity to even make a mistake in the yard. Another thing, and this is particularly true of new dogs or very agile dogs, is they can be prone to escape. So if you bring home a new dog, they don't know where they are. They don't know you yet. They don't know their home, and they're very likely to escape. And in fact, when we brought Sammy home for the first time, I was at work, and I don't think he had even been there a couple of days. And Jeremy had him and Maddie out in the yard, and he went out to check on them, and they were gone. He literally busted a hole in the fence, and you can see, Sammy, this is a pretty big dog. Well, you'll see him in another video. He's about 60 pounds, and he busted a hole in the fence that was like this big. And both dogs went through it and took off. Someone found them 5 miles away later that day and drove them home to us, thank God. And they crossed a lot of busy streets. So when you have a new dog, it takes up to 3 months, maybe 6 months for them to fully adapt to the new place. Then you can give them a little more freedom. But I would never leave a new dog alone in a yard simply because they are prone to escaping like that. Or if you have a dog who is again, like a border collie who can jump the fence. And you'd be surprised at how dogs can be motivated to escape when they're alone and anxious without you or something like that, or something goes by that motivates them, maybe for the first time, to jump the fence. So that's just something to think about. Some dogs are very good at climbing and jumping fences, like huskies in particular are great at escaping. So what can you do instead? Well, my advice is to have your dog be in the home when you're not there. And granted, if your dog has never been left alone inside the house, you want to work up to that before you just leave them alone inside, because you're not sure what they're going to do. Or you can manage their environment when you first leave them alone. And I would say do both, really. So give them lots of mental and physical exercise before you leave them alone. So if your dog is like a year-old puppy, then, or even less, you want to give them a long walk, maybe play fetch in the yard, whatever you need to do. Give them puzzle toys, feed them their breakfast through something they have to work at, and that helps expend their energy as well. Even getting some mental exercise helps physically tire them out. Give them a small space in the home. Typically, I would have someone, or I would do this myself, is pick a small room that is, I would take everything out that was valuable in case they do decide to destroy something, and then just keep them in that room. And when you leave, you want to create a leaving routine. So you want to give your dog, so I tell people, get fully ready to go. Ignore your dog if they're getting crazy and anxious about you leaving. Just ignore that. Get fully ready to go, and then before you walk out the door, that's when you're going to start your leaving routine, putting your dog in the small room, or if they're crate trained, that's even better. Put them in there, give them a long-lasting toy or chew. So like a Kong stuffed with different things and frozen is a great thing to give. You can also do like a bully stick or a natural bone with stuff inside that's frozen as well. Those things can be longer lasting for your dog. So that helps expend their mental energy, which keeps them occupied and less focused on your leaving. So it's kind of a distraction technique. So give that to them, close the door and walk out. Don't say goodbye. Don't say I'll be right back. A lot of times your dog has cued into these things, these phrases or words, and then they become anxious because they know it means you're leaving. So just stop that altogether and then walk out. And then when you come back, let your dog out. Don't say anything. Don't get excited. Don't say like, oh, I'm back. Oh my gosh. It's going to get your dog all worked up. You want your coming and going to be no big deal. So we want to make this very even keel. And so we teach our dogs that us leaving and coming home is just part of the day. It's not a thing. Don't worry about it. And then they're less likely to be anxious when you're gone. Now, of course, there are exceptions to my suggestion of not leaving your dog alone in the yard. Maybe you have a livestock guarding dog. Maybe your dog is bred to sit outside with a herd or a flock of something and sit with them calmly all day unless there's an issue, like a predator animal coming in. If your dog is trained for that, that's totally different. That's a separate thing. So you have to, that's why I don't like to give a black and white answer for things. I just like to give the information and then have you apply it to your dog as you see fit. Maybe you have, I've had several people in the past that were clients that had a shepherd who they got because they had a break-in in their house or something like that. And they would leave the dog in the yard so that it would bark at people going by. Maybe they weren't in the best neighborhood. That's something you want to factor in. I mean, if you want your dog to bark, leave them outside. That's what they're going to do. So I just give you the information, you apply it to your dog, and I I would love it if you would go on my YouTube channel where I'm uploading these, and then subscribe to the channel, like it, share the videos if you feel like you enjoy the information and it might be helpful to somebody else. And hopefully I can build a bigger following and get more videos out to you. So yeah, if you have a question too and you'd like to do a one-on-one conversation for this, let me know and we can get that get that going as well. And that's it for today. So hope you found this helpful, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.